Super Dave here with another review. Super Dave here with our very first SilverHawks review. Oh man, this is going to be exciting. Looking forward to jumping into this line, and this is the very first one made by Ramen Toy and licensed by Super 7. They bought the license to this line, this particular type action figure line of the SilverHawks, and this is Quicksilver. Man, look at him. This was a cool cartoon, kind of a sister cartoon to the Thundercats. But I kind of lumped Thundercats and Motu, and in this case, even the SilverHawks kind of together. And this is going to be so cool to check out. There's that SilverHawks logo. Whoosh, there it is. But let's go ahead and break this guy open. Don't forget Tallyhawk. And check him out. Here is Quicksilver and Tallyhawk's bio. If you would like to read that now, you certainly can. And now we are going to go inside of the Quicksilver Space Station headquarters. And wow, just look at them there. Check out Quicksilver and Tallyhawk. They are phenomenal looking. Right out of the box, I am impressed. These two look great. Ha! Wow. Loving this. Let's first take a look at our Quicksilver and Tallyhawks accessories. Alright, taking a look at our Quicksilver's hands. Starting with his left hand, he comes with that open palm flying style hand. Also an open palm spread out gesturing style hand or waving hand. And then also for this left silver side, he has a balled up fisted hand. Then for his flesh tone side, of course, he has a balled up fisted hand for that right side. That waving hand for the right side, flesh tone. And then also the flying pose hand for the right side. Looking good, the detail in these hands. Then as you see there, he has the sets of wings. It's two sets actually that will go together. One for when he has his wingspan spread out, and one for when they're kind of pulled back together. And we'll see that shortly as we equip his accessories. But then he also comes with two face plates. One is the unhelmeted version, and that's a nice looking face plate, really nice, reminiscent to the cartoon as you can see there. And then he has his awesome helmeted face plate that just materializes and pulls down over his face, and that is so cool with that blue accent. I just love that. We'll take a look at that with him. And then this is kind of an action figure of his own, but we'll go ahead and cover it as an accessory, and that's Tallyhawk there. And she also comes with her wingspan options. So we're going to take a look at all of that in just a moment as we equip our Quicksilvers and our Tallyhawks accessories. Alright, and so first taking a look at our Tallyhawk here. The one thing I will let you know is there's no articulation for this bird at all. It would have been nice if she had had the ability, or he, I'm not sure if it's a he or she, Tallyhawk, I'm not sure, could have had legs to go back and forth. But let's go ahead and pop off those wings here. There's little tabs on the side as you see. So we can pop those off, and we can go and pop on the ones that will be the spread out wings here. Pop them right in there. Pop them right in there. And then voila, you have a flying Tallyhawk. You're going to fly along with his partner. And see, it would have been nice if we had gotten kind of like we did with Spirit, Iron Knife, with Freedom, A little articulated head would have been nice to be able to point up. Some articulated legs would have been nice to at least have been able to have gotten, you know, a proper flying forward pose. But still, it's a nice touch. Love the metallic silver. Most of you know Super 7 is going to be coming out with, and is coming out with, a SilverHawk line with all the characters that look like the cartoon, exactly like the cartoon. Even those less metallically looking silver outfits, but still supposed to be silver and metallic-y looking, but not quite metallic-y looking because it was hard to come off on that to make it look that way rather on the cartoon. And so kind of like the Filmation Club Grayskull line with Motu, that's what Super 7 is doing with the SilverHawks, whereas this Ramen Toy company is coming out with, at least Quicksilver here, with the look of the metallic SilverHawk look. All right, now that's about it for Tallyhawks. We're going to let her fly away, and now we're going to take a look at equipping our Quicksilver's accessories. And there you see his wingspan with it just partially up there as he's hovering, and he does not come with a flight stand. Sorry about that, but I just wanted to show you what he would look like. But we're going to bring him on in here and show you how to install the actual wingspan that is the wide wingspan. But just look at that shimmer. I mean, that is really dope. I mean, just so cool. All right, so let's go ahead and show you. Just going to unplug those again here, as you see. And now we're going to turn him around, and you see those tabs here and here, and then over here on the right side, here and here. So these are marked right and left. So you're going to take your right side and you're going to tab it in, and they're pretty tight. You have to get them angled just right for it to line up. See, it even fits in with the little belt side here, right there. Kind of fits in with that belt, or straddles the belt, or however you want to say it. And then the left side the same way. You plug those into the arms. You really, be honest with you, really don't notice those pegs. I mean, one thought is, oh man, they're going to be there all the time, but they don't really show. It's really cool. And so there he is with his full wingspan ready to take off. But here's the cool part. Now watch this. The faceplate is magnetic, pops right off. Pretty good tight magnet too. And we're going to take this other faceplate, see the magnet on the inside of that, and then we're going to just, wow, it just pulls it. Look, pulls it right to it. That is cool. I'll show it again. It just pulls it right out of your hand, and that's a good fit. And check that out, man, that is awesome. That is so wicked cool. Just look at that. I love this backdrop. Like that screen that I invented using pieces of other stuff to make like a, you know, like a space screen that, like, that's seeing the outside of a nebula or whatever, the space station. I just love this backdrop. Have to have something a little different for the SilverHawks, right? We've got a certain look for the Thundercat lair, and of course for the Justice League and the Joes and the Cobras, and look, we're going to even, in comparisons, we're going to be even bringing in New Adventure, He-Man and She-Ra, and even Metroid in here, Samus. But man, he is just so cool. I just love him in this backdrop with this blue. I'm just thinking this is so cool. I'm really tickled about this guy. All right, enough of me fawning over him. Let's go ahead, now that we've seen all of his accessories. They just pop on. I'll show you one of them over here. Especially since he's flying, you just pop off. It's got some nice long pegs there. You just pop off the one there, and then let's go ahead and grab this flying pose hand for the silver side. And I did pop that one out. And just go pop. Oh, look at there. The little thing comes off. So I guess that would count as a accessory. The little watch, the little controller, helps him navigate Tallyhawk with that armband there, arm controller. But that is so cool. So there he has his wingspan going out and his hands going out there. And I'll go ahead and do this one. These are tight, so you have to really pull hard, and then you have to really dig in. So you just really have to be careful, because that little peg hinge will just collapse with you, and you have to really, kind of like Storm Collectibles and even to a certain degree SH Figure Arts, I mean, you have to really kind of get that in the right angle to get those hands on there. But the wings were a breeze to put on, and the mask. But that is so cool. So there you have his hands spread out. I mean, just look at that. That looks amazing. I mean, just look at how nice that looks. He's just looking so cool. I mean, this is an awesome. I'm liking him a lot better than I thought I would. I mean, I'm excited about the SilverHawk line in general, but I'm just really stoked. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna like the Ultimates by Super 7 better than this guy or not. I don't know. I'm just gonna have to see. I mean, there's some characters that they've got looking just like they stepped out of the screen, and I'm a purist like that. I mean, like the Filmation Club Grayskull was my favorite, really, overall in the Classics line for He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. So I don't know, but this guy, it's gonna be hard to beat. I mean, he is really, really neat. But now let's really put him to the test and check out his articulation. Alright, so taking a closer look at our Quicksilver, I went ahead and let his mask plate go ahead and materialize back into his helmet just for the sake of this part. But I'm going to go ahead and prepare you. This guy's articulation is good in theory. He's got everything you would need in theory as far as what he is designed to have. But its execution is lacking. And so unfortunately I have to say, just from the get-go here, that you can tell this is their, I guess this company's really first quality, action figure. Now QC, I really haven't seen any QC issues. The paint is perfect. Everything just looks great. Now I will tell you that the magnet, when I first took this out of the package, this magnet came out with the face. I had to glue that magnet back in. That was really the only QC issue I've had. Articulation wise, it's not a QC issue as much as it's just executing the principle of the articulation properly. So I'll show you what I mean. I mean, this, get ready for a deja vu moment for the Supermen that we reviewed, the Superman figures, because look, you can't look up at all. I mean, that's it. You cannot look up at all. That's as much as you can look up. He can look down all the way, which is great. I mean, deja vu with Superman, right? Most of them, except for Revoltech. Now, they got it right. But, man, I wish they had got it where you could look up with this guy, because, look, doing forward, flying poses like the way they would show, look there, in that picture. The way they would fly forward, I mean, you can't do that. You're not going to be able to do that. I mean, if you fudged it, and I mean, that's going to look weird right there. You're not going to, I mean, anyway, that part is disappointing. But he does look side to side. He'll get pretty good head pivot. So you're going to be able to get some good expression. I'm pleased with that part of it, because actually the neck part is articulated. It's just very little motion, very little movement. You see how small these ball joints are? That's one of the problems throughout this figure. But he does get a good range of motion other than not being able to look straight up, all right, for flying poses. Moving on to the arms, this piece is a separate piece. It's on its own little ball socket joint there, so that'll pop right back on and you can maneuver that out of the way. So because of that, you're not going to really be able to get 360 unless you pop that off, but it will go 360. You have bicep swivel. It will get out of the way for you to be able to strike a T pose, 90 degrees there. And so you get a good pose there. And then you have double jointed elbows that get better than 90, and those are pretty good. And I know you're seeing them there, but in most shots, you're not going to really tell those peg holes are there. I haven't anyway. And I will cover this since we're on the arm. You see those two magnets? That's what Tallyhawk lands on, those two magnets right there. And so that's really cool. I'm impressed with that. I like that better than pegs in the bottom of his feet like they did Spirit Iron Knife and Freedom. Instead of having holes there, I like the magnets because it blends in with the silver, and we've already got enough pegs going on, right? But yeah, double jointed elbows, really nice, really good. And that's going to be the same on both hands, both arms rather. And you're going to be able to get, you know, because of the ball joint behind these pegged hands, you're going to be able to go vertically or horizontally, whichever way you turn that ball joint. All right, moving on to the diaphragm. Here's another disappointment. You're only going to be able to crunch about that far, and then you're going to only be able to bend back about that far. Very, very little in terms of the diaphragm. And even though this guy has a ball joint here at the waist, look how tiny it is and how rigid this plastic right here is. It pops off very easily, for one, because just trying to do and you're not going to be able to get too much this way either, but you cannot really benefit from that ball joint in the belly and crotch area, or I should say pelvic girdle area, at all. That waist is not going to move, unfortunately, because if you could get that in there and that in there, you could really get some good posing. But the way it's designed, you're not really going to get much. You can't turn. You're not going to have any waist swivel. Well, I guess you can get a little bit of it before it pops off there. You can get a little bit, but it's not going to be as much as you would think. Like I said, the principle's there. A ball socket in the waist, that's what we want. This diaphragm ball socket, that's what we want. But the execution is just not there. But I love the design. Now the aesthetics, I'd give this guy aesthetically, I'd give him easily a 9 out of 10 aesthetically. But as far as design and articulation, I'd have to say 7.5, because it's just not executed very well. The arms are not bad, even though he would have benefited, even though it's there. I mean, I want you to look. The cut is there, but there is no butterfly joint, even though the cut looks like it's there and you can see it, but it's painted over and it does not budge. You can see it in there, but it does not move. So that's a little confusing. So almost like maybe they planned to have it but then scrapped it. That's just me. All right, you do have the drop down method here, and you are going to be able to kick up a good amount, better than 90 degrees. You're going to even be able to kick back a little bit there. You're not going to get full splits without popping those off the sockets. There again, these sockets are so small, they would pop off if you try to go any further. Even if you do the drop down method, I mean, that's as far as you're going to get. And then, of course, he will be able to get some thigh rotation, both on the ball joint and up in here. That ball up in here technically does turn too, so you get two type of thigh swivels there. So that's nice. So you can get those legs right back into position and make it look flush and make it look good. And then going to the knees, here's another disappointment. You have double jointed knees, but look, that's as far as it'll go. That's not even 90 degrees, I don't believe. Yeah, not quite even 90 degrees, and that's as far as it goes. It pinches, it crimps right here. Now the execution of that looks great, or as far as the aesthetic of it, but it's not functional as a double jointed knee. And so that's disappointing, because when you're doing those flying poses, you might need a little better than that. Get his knee up there. And then the foot, it will go that way, but not full tiptoes. It hits the back here. They should have made this a little bit better, because when you're doing those flying poses, you need that foot to go down. And then he will go up a good amount though. And he has rockers. It's kind of like the McFarlane toys. You have a ball joint up in here, so you're going to have to get that. Matter of fact, I'll show you. This one's actually turned the right way. See, if it's turned the right way, you get excellent rockers. But as far as that forward-facing pin by itself, if the joint is turned for you to be able to do this with the foot, you don't really get much in the way of rocker, versus when you have the joint actually turned, that ball joint turned in a way to get the rocker. And then you do have a toe hinge. So I know I took a lot of time with that articulation, but this is our first figure out of the gate with Quicksilver, as far as the Ramen Toy, licensed by Super 7. But hopefully we'll get better articulation with the Super 7 Ultimates, but we'll see. But overall, I'm still very stoked about this guy. I'm very pleased with him. I would love to be able to give him a rating that's just out of this world, but I hope they'll improve on the articulation and the execution of it. But overall, I am still very pleased and very excited about this figure. He just looks good, and he does move, and he is going to fit in great with these other characters. So let's go ahead and do some comparisons with some other space type action figures, as well as Motu, as well as Thundercats and others. Let's check them out. Tallyhawk, come to me. Good, Tallyhawk. Now download into my suit what you have learned. Into the database. We are ready for action. Alright, first taking a look at Spirit Iron Knife and Freedom next to our Quicksilver and Tallyhawk, and you can see the size difference. Quicksilver is definitely taller, so if you wanted to see the size comparison with the Joes, don't miss out on my review of Spirit Iron Knife. Got that up on my channel now, and you can definitely check that out, because like our new theme saying is, don't just watch a review, experience the review with Super Dave, and I think you'll really enjoy that one. So let's look at our next comparison. It is New Adventures He-Man and New Adventures She-Ra. She was trying to talk to Tallyhawk, check her or him out, I forget what it is. But yes, they look great together, pretty good scale. Quicksilver may be just a tad taller than He-Man, but man, these look great together. I believe they'll be pretty much perfect when the New Adventure Masterverse figure comes out, which he's supposed to be released near the end of this year or the first of next year. I'm not sure. I've got mine pre-ordered already, but he's gonna look pretty much like this, except that Masterverse looking face pattern we've been seeing going on, less detail. But Classics knocked it out of the park with this guy. I mean, he's definitely bulkier than the cartoon of New Adventures He-Man, but I like the Classics incarnation of it. And if you want to put these together in this mythos and their space travels, you can do it. And here's our Quicksilver with the Thundercats, and this was their, if you would, sister show back in the 80s, 86, 87 I believe it was. And this is Lino, Bengali, Tigra over here, and Panthro. They're all talking it over with him, and of course their bucks are bigger. They've got the classic bucks by Mattel, but and Super 7. Smaller frame for this guy. Be interesting to see how these measure up. I think these are going to go better technically with the Ultimates Super 7 line that they're going to come out with, but still you can make this work. I mean, when you want a metallic Quicksilver, there you go. And man, I'm telling you, I just love that magnetic faceplate gimmick. That is just awesome. But there you have it. You have Lion-O there beside Quicksilver. They're talking it over. They've flown through the atmosphere of Third Earth into space and gone on all kinds of adventures against Monstar, which is the SilverHawks nemesis. And he's kind of like Mumra in the sense that he does transform from like regular Monstar into big, evil, monstrous Monstar. And a lot of the things about these SilverHawks, of course, is that they are half machine and half human. Or as they say in the bios you read, half machine and half real and half machine. So very interesting concept on that. But yeah, they flew through some of the same space areas in the shows. They would comment on that, that, you know, name some of the same planets. So yeah, these were sister shows back in the day, and so it's cool to mosh these up together. And here's Quicksilver next to Marvel legend Silver Sable. And boy, she's looking as hot as always. And look how great they look together. I mean, she's shorter, but man, they could be a team. And then Samus from Metroid, she's looking great beside him as well. I mean, you can pretty much take any of your space type figures that, you know, will fit the part and put them right together. Awesome. Okay, Quicksilver, you're tall and all, but you're not in the run-ins for figure of the year like I am. I've got all this cool articulation. Hey, wait a minute. That's cool. I mean, mine does that whooshing thing, but yours came right out of your helmet. Awesome, man. And just because I love this Yamaguchi Revoltech Superman, there he is, the new 52 Superman next to our Quicksilver, and they're looking great together. They're saying, you know what, we could go flying together sometime. Yeah, let's go explore the galaxy. That'll be fun. Let's do it. And yes, oh yes, we have to look at him alongside of our Masterverse figures. There's Teela, Classics Revelation Teela, and there's Revelation He-Man with some modifications with a Hordak MX head sculpt, which I love. And he's doing awesome work. Check his work out, especially what he's got coming up for the Battle Armor He-Man. He's looking great. All of his heads look great. And then there's some paint work done on that He-Man as well. But anyway, they look great together. I mean, He-Man's taller, the 7-inch scale, just a little bit taller. About the same height as Teela there, though. Maybe just a tad taller than Teela with the helmet. But that's just looking great. I love that. You could mix this group together as well, I think. Have Quicksilver visit Eternia. And we cannot go without measuring our Quicksilver next to Tony Stark's Iron Man. And Tony's like, dude, how do you get your propulsion? I mean, it's like a scientific improbability, like bumblebees. I mean, how do you fly? I have to have all this technology and all these jet propelled this and that's, but you just soar into the sky. Thank you so much for joining us for this Super Dave review. Please come back and see us soon. We'll be having some Masterverse figures coming up next, so please like, subscribe if you haven't, please. It helps the channel a lot. And also comment if you have something to share or say. And we'll see you next time. Here's some photos in the photo gallery.